But I still have time. I can explain this in 10 minutes. So let me take more questions.
So these course guideline, are they available?
Which one? Which of them?
The one you are following now. The lesson.
Yeah, it's your material. Now, this is your material. I told you already. I'll give this to you.
Oh, okay.
This is your notes. This is your manual.
Okay, so
any other question? Okay, so what is the bash script? Anybody who can help us? Let those who know just help us summarize so that those who don't know can.
I'm not sure if I'm right, but it's a list of commands that we can run automatically without manually entering it.
Correct. That's correct. Very correct. So how do you recognize a bash script? What do you watch out for to say this is a bash?
The Big Bang Bash.
Yeah, it must start with shebang.
Shebang, yeah.
Shebang. Ash bang. All right. So where do you place your bash script during bootstrapping? You know what bootstrapping is? Bootstrapping is the thing you do to let the EC2 server that you are spinning up automatically take in those commands and run them as it is coming up.
User data.
User data, correct. All right.
Excuse me. I have just one question here. I've just been wondering, when you changed, to admin user automatically, then where is the security? So if you work with people who
no, in practice you will not. This is because it's our server. So you don't work for Google, and Google will give you the right, the privilege to change to admin just like that. No.
Okay.
So how would Google create an account for you so that is the only account you would use? We'll do that under the how to create and manage user account. So ideally, nobody should be able to change to root. Good observation for security reasons.
And so what's the meaning of VI? The one VI index.html.
It means I want to edit this file using the VI editor. I could have used Nano or Vim. Yes. So we'll do VI. Okay, let's do it. This is what it brings us to. So we can edit this text. Can you see it?
Yes.
That's where we use a Nano as well.
Yes. Nano, Vim, VI. All three do exactly the same. So it's up to you what you want to use. For example, I could decide, let me exit here. I could do Nano, then index. Instead of typing, I can just highlight it. All right. So it's the same thing. It still brings me to edit the same text. So they are called text editors. Did I answer that question?
Yes, thank you.
All right. Okay. So what is scalability? Let's quickly do scalability and understand it. Then we'll now do the practicals. All right. Scalability. Explain scalability, elastic, availability, shares. Okay. So scalability simply means something like this. So you have this idea, and then, or maybe somebody who is not a tech person, or he has money, he has an idea, and he calls you and say, I hear that you are a solutions architect. Please help me set up a server. I've contacted one Indian bot to help me develop this app. So once he finishes the development, we'll put it on this server that you have set up for me. It's just an experiment. I'm not expecting it's going to be a commercial app, but I'm not expecting, it's not launched yet. So just give me a small server so that I don't pay heavily. So you set up a small server, and this is your server. And then the India guy finishes the job. This your server is your infrastructure, right? And then the India guy finishes the application, all right, which is the app. And this is part of development. They're called developers. And you are called infrastructure engineer, or what's that? Solutions architect. All right. So he finishes, but it's not a one-time thing. Then you put it in your infrastructure, and your infrastructure is running. And then this guy your boss tells his friends, I have this app. Once you just put your name there, to tell you the name of your grandfather, the name of, you just give you your ancestry tree. And then from 1, from 2, from 3, 15 people logged on, and they are just using this server. All of a sudden, this server that was built to handle only 3 requests at a time, is now taking 15 requests at a time. Because the guy who built it, you, the architect, you were told that it's not for public use, it's just for, anyway, the bottom line is the resources. Remember the resources? The memory, the storage, and the CPU of this server is no longer enough to cater for 15 people, because you built it to handle 3 requests at simultaneous. So what do you need to do? You need to upgrade the server to something bigger that can now take care of 20 people, or 20 customers, or 20 connections at the same. So the idea of increasing the resources, adding more resources so that it is now able to cater for more customers, is called scaling. And this kind of scaling, adding more memory, more RAM, and more CPU, is called vertical scaling. So this is the concept of vertical scaling. All right. So with vertical scaling, it means that if in two months' time, the business becomes really successful and you now have more people, then you may need to shut it down for a while, shut down the server, and then add more resources. For how long are you going to be doing this? So this is not a recommended way. Vertical scaling is not a good way because every time this happens, it is likely that you want to shut down the existing infrastructure, add more infrastructure, then restart the infrastructure. And for that 1 second or 5 minutes or 10 minutes that your server shuts down to do that, what do you want your customers to do? They should be hanging on. No customer wants to be disappointed. Anyway, this kind of scaling is vertical. It just means increasing the infrastructure resources to accommodate more, in this case, more concurrent sessions. All right. A better way to do this is horizontal scaling. And what does horizontal scaling mean? Horizontal scaling is the idea that you have one server originally allocated. Okay, we can see draw it here. You have one server originally allocated for this purpose, and then you now see that there are more clients. You need to do more work than one server can provide. So instead of adding more resources to this server, you now add additional server. You now add one more server or two more servers. So you are scaling horizontally, not scaling vertically. So every time there is need for more work, just add additional server. It doesn't stop anything at all. Just add additional server. And the work that 3 servers cannot do, by the time you now have 4 servers will be able to do the work. So this idea of adding additional servers instead of increasing the resources of a single server is called horizontal scaling. And this is what is really applicable. This is what is viable. This is what we practice horizontal scaling in cloud. So this is the difference between horizontal scaling and vertical scaling. And most of the time when we talk about scaling without referring to whether it is vertical or horizontal, we're actually talking about the horizontal. So when we say that your design should be scalable, it means that it should be such that when there is high traffic on your infrastructure, then the infrastructure should be able to expand, should allow for additional servers to be added when traffic is high, or allow for the number of servers to reduce when traffic is low. The ability of this infrastructure, of this design, to automatically expand itself when there is need for it, or the opposite of expand, or reduce the number of servers when there is no more need for it. That concept, that ability is called auto scaling. All right, auto scaling. All right, so we're going to do auto scaling so that we'll see how that works. And then that is also very related to high availability. When high availability simply means that your application, the servers and the applications and the software and the databases running inside them should never go down, not even for 1 second. All right. Once the server is always up and never disappoints customer, we say it has high availability.